Well, good afternoon. I'm Bruce Perry. I direct the Fort Dodge Choral Society. I work at Grace Lutheran Church in town. I'm approaching 3 decades of working in the arts in Fort Dodge, which must mean I started when I was 11. I don't know. But that being said, I've also been really lucky to work with a lot of very talented young individuals as private students in my voice studio and piano studio. And I've always been amazed at the level of talent and commitment of the artistic community in Fort Dodge.
Cool. So you're involved in Fort Dodge Choral Society. Why don't you tell us about some of the fundraising aspects that you've done between Choral Society, your role as a private instructor, and Fort Dodge Fine Arts Association?
Over the years, unfortunately, the habit that we have, which is liking the arts, is not a cheap habit. In fact, the arts are a very expensive mistress. That being said, you have to be able to find a way to fund them. And if we relied solely on ticket prices for events, we would have very few things happening. Thanks to the largesse of several people in town, especially Ann Smeltzer, Catherine Vincent Deerdorf, we've been able to have wonderful ongoing support for the arts because of what they envisioned for the future. The arts certainly would not be the case without them, or without Mr. Blandon, who started really the first art museum this side of the Mississippi River.
Right.
Especially
the first municipal, right?
Yeah, the first municipal art museum this side of the Mississippi River.
Right.
So Fort Dodge has a huge legacy there, and what Carl King did and what people who started the symphony, those kind of people are amazing. But sometimes it's also necessary to augment funding a little bit or to encourage young people. I've been very passionate about developing scholarship programs for aspiring musicians, aspiring artists. The last couple years working with students, I've done a couple fundraisers. One was a cabaret, one was actually a performance of the last 5 years, where the benefit of the profits have gone to not only Fort Dodge Fine Arts Association programs, but to things like Fort Dodge Choral Society scholarships, which routinely award $3,000 to $4,000 a year to aspiring musicians that are already in college and making great strides toward pursuing their careers.
Yeah, that's awesome. And those students are also learning about, civic duties in that process as well, and giving back, which is an amazing skill as a student to learn.
Well, Barry Commoner once said there's no such thing as a free lunch. And
right?
I believe that, as an artist, we have to pay back to the community. I firmly believe that artists should receive a fair remuneration for their talent.
Yeah.
If you're a plumber, you don't go out and say, oh, here. You're donating because we're good people.
Right.
I think artists deserve the same respect. But that being said, I think we also need to work together to nurture the art and create the environment where we can really flourish.
Right, where we can all be on the same team. So what do you know specifically as far as Fort Dodge, the community and the area, and the Fort Dodge Fine Arts Association as a whole?
Well, Fort Dodge Fine Arts is one thing, but let's go a little more generic than that.
Great.
The arts really are an economic driver for any community. Millions of dollars flow into Iowa each year because of fine arts programs. Now, the things that we enjoy doing, the things that we like to get paid to do, are also the things that are drawing people to our community. More and more people are coming to a community because of the quality of life and finding a way to function and be paid to be there, because they want to be there. And that is because of the quality of life things like art museums, like performing organizations, like the availability of arts organizations for their children. Those are the things that are drawing people to rural Iowa. That quality of life issue is so vital and so important. Now, Fort Dodge has a huge history of looking at arts organizations, going back to the Blandon, going back to the Carl King Museum, going back to the Fort Dodge Area Symphony. Some of those organizations have a great, deep-seated foundation in the community. Now, Fort Dodge Fine Arts has done a good job of blending those together and saying, all right, how can we make your mission, my mission, and their mission our mission? Because if we don't work together, we don't have as much economic impact. And by doing that, coordinating schedules, which sometimes happens, sometimes doesn't.
Right, that's the nightmare of it all, right?
But
it's a good problem.
It's a great problem, but part of the issue is if you don't have that overlying organization to say, look, the arts are alive and well and vital in Fort Dodge and Webster County in northwest Iowa, you don't have to go to Des Moines or Chicago to get great things.
Right.
I mean, there are at least 4 different groups doing community theater productions in Fort Dodge.
Right.
There are 2 or 3 community choirs happening. There's arts festivals, blues, all of those things are transpiring, and we need to market that so we not only maintain the vitality of the arts community, but maintain the vitality of the community at large. The things happening in Iowa Central Community College, in Fort Dodge Senior High, at St. Edmund, at the other private schools in town are amazing. Arts are very important in Fort Dodge, and we have to market that. And that, to me, is where Fort Dodge Fine Arts Association is really making an impact in the community.
Excellent. That's the hope, to educate the community on the importance of rec and arts and culture as far as maintaining a high quality of life.